lifestyle. Marquis' smooth and quiet 6-passenger riding comfort, superior riding characteristics, and outstanding road handling ability make it an appealing choice. Marquis is the versatile car for more than one lifestyle. Marquis has Ford of Canada's DuraGuard system of anti-rust processes, backed by a no extra charge 36-month unlimited distance warranty against rust perforation. Mercury Marquis, we're proud about that. At the sign of the cat.
Sit back and take a quick look at the John Deere line. Now for a closer look, see your John Deere dealer.
Except for the fact he would wish the Rangers and not the New York Islanders playing in this series. I would imagine this series and the game in particular would be John Ferguson's cup of tea. This is tough hockey at its best, and the whole series, with a few exceptions when the emotions took over, has been that way, John.
Well, it certainly has been an outstanding series. There's been a lot of hits, and both clubs have played exceptionally well. And, you know, we're right down to the last period, and it's a situation here where I guess a coach can't make a mistake. He has to have the right men on the face-offs and have the right men on the ice at the right time right now, because it's a coach's period now.
It's hard to watch the game in that second period when Trottier misses an open net, when Kazicki hits a post, Bossy misses another chance, and not think that the Islanders have a quota, you know, and maybe they're using them up, and the Leafs come back and really on their only big chance of the period get a goal. Were you thinking that same thing?
Well, that's quite true. And the other situation they had a good chance was Landy McDonald came down, and he possibly could have given the puck over to Sittler, and he glanced one off the post himself, but they have missed their chances, and they can't afford to miss too many of those.
What about the third period? Do you see any pattern developing in terms of who might have an advantage going to the third period? We think about Salming's absence and the fact that the Islanders who are playing, including Trottier and Bossy, may not be feeling 100%. Would you think there's an advantage to one team or the other?
Well, I do, Dave. I think that the Islanders have a few better goal scorers throughout their whole club, but they've checked them quite close. Williams has done a great job of checking, and Maloney, and in the first two periods, he's basically gone with Sittler as much as possible in all the face-offs, and he's played quite a bit, so he could break up a game for you. But right down and through the year, the Islanders just had too many good goal scorers, so I would think that they have the home ice advantage in their own building and the crowd, but really hasn't been that much of an effect so far, but they do have the best goal scorers.
I'd like to talk about the Rangers for just a moment. I wonder if you were pleased, and I assume you were, that the club came on pretty well in the playoffs. It gave Buffalo a scare, and basically, as you were rebuilding, the team was moving up and getting into that playoff spot.
David, we spent 2 years going with draft choices. I think a lot of them matured through the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Greshners and Maloney's are coming on fine, and Hickeys, and young Murdoch, and Deblois, Duguay, and of course Esposito and the older fellas. But with the addition of two Swedish fellas, Hedberg and Nielsen, we're going to be a contender. And that was a good taste of what it's all about, just getting in the Stanley Cup playoffs for our young hockey club, and we're going to be there.
John, thank you for joining us. Good luck with the Rangers next year, and we'll find out if the Islanders snipers make the difference in this game. We'll return with the Stanley Cup playoffs in just a moment.
Well, this is the Stanley Cup. This is what it's all about, and the winner of this game tonight will advance one step closer to the Stanley Cup. Right now, all even Dan Kelly, and nobody can predict a winner, I'm sure.
Not if they have anything upstairs, because it's well, you're down to the seventh game, the third period. It's a 1-1 hockey game, and anything can really happen. They got a kick out of John Ferguson. He talked about the Islanders having the better goal scorers. Right now, the Maple Leafs seem to have a pretty hot goaltender at Balmacher, so you have that against that, and who knows what's going to happen.
They got the goal they needed in the second period after Palmateer kept them in the hockey game. Let's take a look now at that action. Pat Boutet, I thought, set it up well with this rush, and here we go. Watch Jimmy Jones slip in behind.
Jones cut in behind the net. Actually, I think he might have been looking for Butler in front of the net. It didn't get to Butler, but came back to the point, and Mr. Turnbull came in, blasted it home, his fourth goal of the playoffs, and it's a 1-1 game as we head into the third period. I guess really, Brian, it's like sudden death now.
Third period coming up. These are the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Game 7, deciding game of the quarterfinals, Maple Leafs and the New York Islanders. One of the injured Toronto Maple Leafs has joined me now, Bruce Boudreau, who is not having exactly a picnic. Apart from the tension, they put you to work, Bruce.
Yes, Dave, they have me doing some stats up there, and I have to bring them down and report to Roger at the end of each period.
Everybody has his job in a playoff situation.
Yeah, and it's harder to keep track the longer the game goes with the closeness. I keep forgetting who did what where because you're concentrating so much on the play. It's hard to keep control of it.
Do you get the feeling that the game is going one way or the other, good or bad, or do you have the feeling that only the Leafs are in charge and you're just hoping that every chance they get will go in and the Islanders aren't going to score?
Well, I thought in the first period the Islanders had the better of the scoring chances, and I was a little worried when they got their goal because it was the first time they'd gotten an early goal in a while. And then in the second period, we came out hitting, and I think we started to take the play away from them a little bit. And as the period progressed, I think our guys were coming on, and those guys were wiltering a bit. I just hope it goes like that in the third period.
You think the Leafs try to come out and you would know, of course, if this is part of Roger Nielsen's strategy, and play the first few minutes of a period just as hard as they can? Because I thought that's what maybe turned it around in the second period.
Well, I don't know if he does it on purpose. I know the first few minutes of every period you're more rested than at the end of the period, and the guys are so up and hyper for the game that when you come out, it's natural to start off a little tougher than at the end of the period.
You're not looking forward to overtime?
No, I don't think my heart can take it. Not another one. It's. I think we'll win it in this period, and then I'm just keeping my fingers crossed.
Well, of course, the Maple Leafs have lost 2 overtime games here at the Nassau Coliseum. It'll be exciting. Bruce will wait and see whether we get overtime in Game 7.
Islanders and Leafs. Dan, I think the Leafs did take a little of the play away from the Islanders in the second period, but the next goal, is that going to be a big one? Wow.
Well, in the second period, the Leafs outshot the Islanders 11-6. The Islanders had outshot the Leafs 8-7 in the first, so on the game, 18 shots on goal for Toronto, 14 by the Islanders, although I do think the Islanders' scoring chances have been of the more dangerous variety.
Yes, you're right about that. And talk about shots on goal. Brian Glennie went all through the playoffs without one until the second period. Then he had 3. There's the second period summary. Turnbull at .342. What a din in this place now.
This is what it's all about.
If it goes to overtime, Dan, the Leafs have lost 5 overtime games in a row. Semifinals begin Tuesday, May the 2nd. Then on the 4th, Saturday or Sunday, May the 6th and 7th, and Tuesday, May 9th.
The Montreal Canadiens, the Philadelphia Flyers, the Boston Bruins, all waiting for the winner of this game for semifinal action. Here we go at the third period. Islanders won, the Leafs won. Now it's Lewis for New York. Gives it to Trottier, who dumps it into the Toronto zone. McDonald back to get it, trying to clear it, picked it up himself, then flips it to center. And then it's Potvin for New York, gives it to Lewis. Lewis into the center ice area to Trottier, to Gillies, who had a break but overskated the puck. Sittler got it to center for Toronto. Lewis for Dennis Potvin. Fires it around in the boards. Paul Matier back to the net, tipped it away. Johansson was there. He clears to Lanny McDonald. McDonald to Turnbull. Turnbull feeds it in for Tiger Williams. Chico Resch cleared it on the boards. Gillies and McDonald fight for it and hold it there. And the faceoff is going to be in the New York Islanders zone. Lanny McDonald.
47 goals, Dan, in regular season play, plus 40 assists for 87 points.
Just underway with the third period. Chico Resch will have a face-off to his left as we look at Brian Trottier, number 19. Westfall and Sittler. Here's McDonald, a shot from the face-off that deflects wide. Trottier starts back.
shoots it into the Leaf zone. Palmateer out of the net to grab the puck and hold on. And the faceoff is going to be in the Maple Leaf zone. If you notice that last faceoff in the Islander zone, Westfall took the draw against Sittler. This time Westfall heads for the bench, is replaced by Bossy. So Trottier will take the faceoff with Darryl Sittler. Important faceoff in the Leaf zone. Sittler gets the draw to Williams to Turnbull. Ian Turnbull, number 2. He has scored the Leaf goal. Now to Sittler. Off the boards to Williams. Williams got the center, tried to set up Sittler. Persson breaks it up, and Persson gives it to Bossy. He overskates it. Trottier carries on. Trottier to Bossy. Bossy upended on the play by Turnbull, and back comes Williams. To center ice to Lanny McDonald. He couldn't get it. Trottier for New York takes over. Brian Trottier leaves for Bossy. Bossy gets away from McDonald. Flips one. It's wide of the goal. And then Carlisle knocked Bossy fly. Here comes Sittler into the Islanders zone. Sittler well tied up and checked by Stefan Persson. Carlisle clears it into the New York zone, and Jerry Hart has it. Hart crosses the red line, dumps it into the Leaf zone. 20 back for Toronto. To McDonald. Ahead to Sittler. Sittler and Williams come to center. Sittler's long shot caught by Resch. Potvin for the Islanders taking over. Feeds on left wing for the rookie Kazicki. Here's Kazicki to Nystrom. Back to Kazicki. Kazicki skated off by Carlisle. Jones now for Toronto. Feeds to Jerry Butler. Butler overskates the puck, then got it, cleared it to center. Lewis hemmed in against the boards by Jones. They hold it there. And the faceoff will be outside the Maple Leaf blue line. From the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island, this is Stanley Cup 78. Mike Kazicki, Nystrom, and Bourne for the Islanders against Weir, Ellis, and Maloney for the Leafs. Here's Carlisle, number 23 on right wing, firing it into the New York zone. Resch leaves it there for Dennis Potvin. Here's Potvin, who has scored the Islander goal. In on right wing to Nystrom, broken up by Weir, but the play was offside anyway. Number 23, Bob Nystrom, in ahead of the play over on the right side, offside at the Leaf blue line.
Nystrom, a 30-goal man in regular season play. 2 game winners in the series so far. Never stops.
Dan Weir and Kazicki get ready for a face-off at the Leaf blue line. 17:23 left in regulation time. 1-1 the score in Game 7. Here's Carlisle getting it to center ice. Now it's Lewis flipping it back in. Lenny tried to clear it. It's picked up by Carlisle. Left wing pass to Maloney. Danny Maloney in for Ron Ellis. Ellis a shot. Resch got his glove on it, and it goes off the glove of the Islander goaltender up over the glass.
Souvenir hunter just in behind the glass. Celebrates in the traditional manner. Good glove, or good save there by Resch as he got the glove up quickly. And you mentioned the Toronto fans in attendance. Here's the stop. Resch deflects it with the glove. That's quick.
Face off in the Islander zone. It came near the blue line. Carlisle has it at center ice. Carlisle shoots it back into the New York zone. Weir in after it, dropped it for Ellis. He was cutting in front, and Bourne comes back for New York to Kazicki to Nystrom. Nystrom skated off by Glennie, and Maloney has it for the Leafs. Dan Maloney shot it to center ice. Hart knocked it down. Hart shoots it back in, and they whistle the play down. I think Matt Pavelich got clipped with that shot as the Islanders tried to shoot it in.
Dan Weir shaking up a little bit. Yes, I think so. If Toronto wins tonight, it'll be Toronto at Montreal Tuesday. If the Islanders win, the Islanders will play Boston also Tuesday, while Philadelphia will meet Montreal.
Here's Johansson shooting it over onto an open wing. Persson for the Islanders dumps it right back in. Johansson is there, being checked by Merrick. Merrick and Johansson fight for it. Turnbull comes in and ties up Merrick. And now the face-off is going to be in the Leaf zone. 16:25 left in regulation time. Islanders 1, the Leafs 1. Ferguson comes over the boards for Toronto. He and Wayne Merrick will battle for this faceoff. No, Jones is up there as well. So it's going to be Jones against Merrick on the faceoff to the left of the Leaf goal. Leafs got the faceoff. Turnbull in behind his own goal. Turnbull being watched by Merrick. Teams playing very cautiously in this tight situation. The puck cleared to center ice. Persson gives it to Jerry Hart. Hart crosses center, a long shot. Palmateer steered that one aside. Now Boutet dropped it back. Here is Turnbull shooting at the center. Howard knocks it down. In for Harris. Harris is checked. Merrick couldn't get it, and it's cleared to center by the Leafs. Jerry Hart waits for his team to get onside. Was checked by Butler. Here's Johansson. In for Boutet. Boutet checked by Persson. Here's Stefan Persson to Merrick. Merrick cutting in. Trying to drop it back. Turnbull knocks him down. Jones comes into the corner, and they hold it there, and the faceoff will be in the Leaf zone. Tonight's Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island.
CBC covers the Commonwealth Games in Edmonton August 3rd to August 12th.
Got a match down. Enjoying a stogie and a hockey game in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Sittler and Trottier on the face-off, and the Leafs win the draw again, and here's McDonald. Had trouble with a bouncing puck, then was checked by Lewis, and Mike Bossy takes over for New York. Bossy shoots it into the Leaf zone. Clark Gillies races in after it. Carlisle takes him out of the play. Here's Bossy knocked down by McDonald. Now Williams for the Leafs, being checked by Trottier. And Trottier pins Tiger Williams against the boards. And of course, it's another face-off in the Leaf zone. And these face-offs, with the tight scoring situation, the third period, now become even more vital. And the Leafs have been winning most of them.
Well, that check on Bossy was similar to the one in Toronto the other night where Butler took him into the boards. Bossy said it was a cheap shot, that it took place after the whistle had blown. Butler said that's a joke. The whistle followed the action after I brushed him by a second or two.
Trottier wins the faceoff. Here's Dennis Potvin, shoots one in. Palmateer makes the save. Glennie in the corner for the Leafs. Back to the goal for Carlisle. Around on the boards to Glennie. Intercepted. Here's Bossy to Trottier. Centers to Gillies and chipped away. Lewis at the point. Over on the boards for Trottier, and Tiger Williams stepped into him. Williams gets the puck outside the line. Trottier took it away from him, but there was Glennie to get it to center ice. There's Dennis Potvin scooping it back into the Leaf zone, and number 6, Ellis, is back. Trottier bumps Ellis, and Ellis falls, and they hold the puck in behind the Leaf goal for a faceoff.
Now you have to give the Islanders a slight edge in play. 14:39 left in regulation time. Overtime certainly a possibility. A 1-1 tie. Potvin's goal early in the first period gave the Islanders the lead. Turnbull tied it up at 3:42 of the second.
Sittler and Trottier ready for another important face-off to the left of the Leaf goal. Williams comes in and talks the strategy over with Sittler. Now Trottier gets ready for this face-off. Now Gillies wants to give some instructions to some of the other Islander players. Trottier and Sittler. Sittler wins the draw cleanly, and Glennie has it in behind the Leaf goal. Glennie had trouble against Gillies. Now McDonald for Toronto, shot it to center, and Nystrom goes back for the Islanders. Around on the boards to Potvin. Potvin feeds to Trottier. McDonald held it in, but Lewis was there for New York. For Trottier. Shoots it into the Leaf zone. Nystrom in to get it, but Tiger Williams beat him to it. Then Nystrom took him out of the play, and Tiger says something to Nystrom. There's an icing call on the play once Williams touched the puck. And the faceoff will be back in the New York zone.
You can tell how the fans here feel about Tiger Williams. Earlier, someone wrote a poem Tiger passed approval on. Tiger, Tiger, burning bright on Long Island late at night. You know the Tiger, I'm a winner. As for them Islanders, they're done like dinner.
That's his kind of poetry.
Look at the altercation again.
Williams.
I thought one of the better signs here tonight, you were talking about the Butler-Bossy incident the other night and the charges back and forth. Somebody brought a sign that just said, "The Butler did it." Remember those old mysteries?
He always did it, I guess.
Trottier and Sittler for this face-off to the left of the Islander goal. 14-12 left in regulation time. Puck goes to the corner from the face-off, and Hart has it for New York. To Westfall. He just shot at the center ice. Turnbull has it there. Now Turnbull tried to carry in. Westfall checked him. Turnbull gets it to Maloney. Maloney checked by Pearson. And Westfall feeds to Trottier. Brian Trottier shooting it around on the boards. Gillies raced in. Palmatier cleared it. Here's Trottier behind the net to Gillies. Flipped it in front. No Islander could get it, and McDonald comes back to Sittler. Gary Hart checked him. Got it to the leaf line. Here's Johansson for Darryl Sittler. Shoots it around on the boards into the Islander zone, and back after it is Gary Hart for Nystrom. Nystrom, well in check by Jones. Nystrom drops it to Trottier. He gives it to Jerry Hart. Now Hart to Dennis Potvin. Potvin working his way to center ice. Potvin fires it into the lead zone. Palmatier clearing it. Now the puck centered to Nystrom. A backhander as he was checked by Johansson, and the shot went wide. Good play by Johansson. Here's McDonald to Maloney. Maloney to center ice, but Turnbull flipped it in, and Lewis for the Islanders takes over. Bourne to Kazicki. Kazicki shoots it into the lead zone, and Jerry Butler is there for Toronto. Kazicki held it in. Here's Kazicki. Checked in the play. Nystrom couldn't get it, and back come the Leafs. Plenty as the fans holler here. They thought there should have been a penalty. Resch out of the net to clear it away. Lewis for Bourne. Now to Dennis Potvin. He fires it off the boards into the lead zone. Palmatier gives it to Carlisle. On the right wing boards to Jerry Butler. He's upended. Now it is Carlisle. To center ice and cleared it into the New York zone. Resch around on the boards to Harris. Harris bumped by Boutet. Now Dennis Potvin lost it to Boutet. He dropped it back, but Harris for New York is there. He was checked immediately by Jones. And Jimmy Jones clears it into the New York zone. Potvin in behind his own goal. Feeds to Wayne Merrick, who comes to center. Merrick, number 11, around Glennie. But the play went offside. Glennie delayed it that long enough at the blue line to put Merrick himself offside. This is Stanley Cup 78 from the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island. A camera buff here at the Nassau Coliseum. Here's Pearson from the faceoff. 1-1 with 11:43 left in regulation time. Islanders try and hold the puck in the lead zone, and they do. Johansson back of his own goal. Third it to Ellis on right wing. Ellis now to Ferguson. Ferguson for the Leafs, number 10. Cutting in, shoots, Resch the save. Rebound. Resch grabbed it as Williams took a poke at it. Oh, and a close call by the Leafs, particularly on the rebound.
Williams following up on this hard shot by Ferguson, almost got the rebound. He barreled into Harris, knocked him aside, and the puck stopped in front of Resch. Here comes Ferguson down the wing. His shot on the way. Now watch Williams, 22, coming into the slot. Harris is there as well. And Williams came close on that drive. 11:25 left on the clock.
Sittler ready for a face-off against Westfall to the left of the Islander goal. 1-1 the score. Sittler a quick shot, Resch the save, and Hart starts back for New York. Number 2, Jerry Hart, scooping it in. Gillies races in after it. Gillies shot it in front, no one there. Now Pearson shoots one wide. Gillies a drive, and a spectacular arm save by Palmatier. Hart gets it to Gillies. He centered, and Turnbull knocked it down. And back comes Turnbull. Turnbull trying to work around the defense. Broken up at the defense by Hart. And we'll have a face-off. Oh, and Palmateer just got his arm on a low shot seconds ago that appeared to have goal written all over it.
Oh, you're right, Dan. He has been so quick tonight. Where that arm came from, as Gillies saw a foot or two of open net in front of him, he probably had that one chalked up. There's the puck now. Here comes Palmateer sprawling back. He saw it just in time as Gillies unleashed it. Gillies unleashed it and stayed out.
Face off in the Islander zone. Bouncing puck near Resch. He cleared it away, and Lewis has it for New York. 10:47 left in regulation time. Islanders 1, Leafs 1. Westfall, number 18, the Islander veteran. Scoops it into the Leafs zone. Palmateer cleared it away. Lanny McDonald for Toronto. Feeds to Sittler. Now Bossy breaks it up, shot it back into the Leafs zone, and it's called an offside at the Maple Leaf blue line. With the score, the New York Islanders won, the Toronto Maple Leafs won. This is Stanley Cup 78. Minutes, 26 seconds left in regulation time. Trottier with Gillies and Nystrom for New York, out against Sittler, McDonald, and Maloney for the Leafs. Islanders dump it in. Carlisle back to get it. Carlisle flipped it on the boards, and it went up over the glass. And the faceoff was going to be in the Maple Leaf zone to the right of Mike Palmateer.
The Islanders have never lost a quarterfinal series. We're just over a half a period left in regulation time. 10:16 on the clock.
Trottier against Sittler. And what a tremendous amount of hockey those two have played head-on against each other tonight. I don't know how many minutes, but a large amount. Here is Maloney on left wing for the Leafs. Maloney to McDonald at center. Off the stick into the Islander zone. Lewis is back to get it. Lewis cleared it around in the boards, and Dennis Potvin takes over. Now to Nystrom. Nystrom checked. Here's Potvin. Tied up by Sittler. Now McDonald to Sittler. Off his stick to the corner. Resch out of the goal to clear it away. Here's Carlisle. Shoots one, and he fired it just wide. Nystrom for New York. Headmans it to Trottier. Trottier fires it around in the boards behind the Leaf goal. Glennie is there. He gives it to Maloney. And Maloney, number 9, comes back. Maloney into Sittler. Sittler right in on goal. Check from behind on a great defensive play by Kazicki. The rookie Kazicki. Check Sittler from behind. Now Johansson flips it ahead for Butler. Butler into Sittler, and the play is offside back at the blue line.
Sittler, the tireless Leaf captain, he's taken some long shifts in this third period. And Kazicki made a brilliant defensive maneuver to stop Sittler after he was set up here by Maloney. Around Stephen Pearson. Here comes Kazicki, 21, and a diving slide there knocks the puck off Sittler's stick.
9:17 left in regulation time. Darryl Sittler at the Leaf bench. Islanders won, the Leafs won. Kazicki drops it back to Pearson, now to Jerry Hart. Hart gets it to center ice, and Johansson has it for Toronto. Trevor Johansson lost it to Kazicki. He moves in smartly on left wing, shoots, and a save by Palmateer, but it was all for naught anyway, as the play was offside at the Leaf blue line.
This crowd in a frenzy here. You just can't hear the whistles. I don't think anybody can hear. Even the players sometimes miss them. 9:01 left on the clock. Who's going to get the next goal? And will it come in regulation time or overtime?
Kazicki against Weir on a face-off at the Toronto blue line. Here's Ian Turnbull. He scoops it to center ice. Jerry Hart ran into Ellis. And Bourne for the Islanders clears it into the Toronto zone. Turnbull is there. Ian Turnbull on right wing to Ellis. Ellis in across the line for Weir. Weir moving in, shoots one off a stick and caught by Resch. And Resch held on, and the face-off will be in the Islanders zone. The Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island.
CBC covers the Commonwealth Games August 3rd to August 12th.
8 minutes, 40 seconds left in regulation time. Toronto 1, New York 1. Face-off in the Islanders zone. The Islanders, Lewis to Potvin, back around on the boards to Dave Lewis. Lewis, number 25, to Clark Gillies. Gillies comes to center and tried to shoot it into the lead zone. Shot it away up over the glass. And the face-off is going to be out near the center ice red line.
I hope the young man with all the soft drinks doesn't go after that puck, or he's going to be out some money. Since the quarterfinals were reintroduced in '68, the Leafs have been in 7 of them, and they've lost all of them. The Islanders been in 3 previous quarterfinals and won all 3.
And this game and this series is still very much up for grabs. 1-1 the score. 8:22 left in regulation time. Turnbull to Tiger Williams at center. Potvin checked him. Now Bossy lost it to Sittler. Bossy goes back to his own blue line to get it. He flips it into the Toronto zone. And Johansson has it for the Leafs. For Turnbull. Turnbull being watched by Trottier. Now Turnbull starts to move it out of there. Feeds to Johansson. Trevor Johansson crosses the red line, fires it into the Islander zone. Sittler into the corner, trying to center, gets some help from Tiger Williams. Dennis Potvin checks him and pinned him against the boards. And the faceoff will be in the Islander zone.
Claude Bouchard, who suffered an eye injury in the first period, looking on tonight, replaced by the backup referee, John McCauley. And back in the Toronto hospital tonight, Borje Salming with one eye, his good eye uncovered, is no doubt watching the action tonight. And Dan, I just hope the nurses don't come around to check his blood pressure right about now.
Oh, it's that time in the series and in the game. 7:43 left in regulation time. Here's Glennie's shot for the point. That deflects wide. And Gillies got to center. Carlisle checked him. Gillies knocks Carlisle down. Gillies now to Trottier. Into Westfall, and the play is offside at the Leaf blue line. Westfall on the right side, apparently in ahead of the play at the Maple Leaf blue line.
Eddie Westfall and Clark Gillies.
All the scoring in the game. Dennis Potvin in the first period for New York. Ian Turnbull in the second for the Leafs. Al Arbor facing behind that Islander bench. There's Williams for Glennie. Glennie shot it into the center ice area. Now Dennis Potvin for Lewis, who clears into the Leaf zone. Palmateer leaves for Glennie. Glennie along the boards for Williams. He couldn't get it. Dennis Potvin got it in front, and Carlisle was there to clear it to center ice. Now Gillies back to his own line to Dennis Potvin. To Trottier at center. Trottier to Gillies. Here's Gillies across the line. Leaves it for Trottier. He was checked by McDonald. And Tiger Williams starts back to Sittler. Sittler knocked down by Potvin. And Bossy is back to get it for New York. Cleared it right onto Williams' stick. He centered. And Sittler couldn't get to it, and the Islanders quickly clear it to center ice. Carlisle is there. He scoops it in. Resch backs it away. Now Dennis Potvin behind his own goal. Potvin for Gillies. Clark Gillies had trouble with a rolling puck. Drops it for Dave Lewis. Lewis scooping it in, and Trottier was in ahead of the play. Offside at the Maple Leaf blue line. Live from the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island, the Stanley Cup playoffs. Six minutes, 29 seconds left in regulation time. New York 1, Toronto 1. Game 7. The winner to move on into the Stanley Cup semifinals. Here's Dan Maloney, shoots the puck into the Islander zone. Back after it is Pearson, number 7. Stefan Pearson knocked down, but got it to Merritt. He was checked at center by Turnbull. Ian Turnbull for the Leafs. He skated off and knocked down on the play. Marshall for the Islanders made the check. Here's Merritt. As we have Harris moving into the Leaf zone. Billy Harris lets the shot go. Palmateer, a glove save. And he also was bumped by Howard and was looking for a rebound. And another key save by Mike Palmateer.
Oh, I wish we'd kept count. How many has he made in this game tonight? Palmateer still on the ice. Absolutely brilliant in goal for the Leafs tonight.
You know, while all this was taking place, and perhaps one reason for that thrust by the Islanders, Ian Turnbull was all tied up by Bert Marshall down at the other end. They wrestled each other to the ice. Finally, Turnbull had to flip Marshall over his shoulder. Watch now. This all took place while the play was moving up the ice, and Turnbull, in a great show of strength, got Marshall off his back, you might say. And here's that shot, and the glove grab by Palmateer with Howitt right in front.
5:58 left in the third period. Face-off will be to the left of Palmateer. Ferguson out against Kazicki on this face-off. Now Maloney, the Leafs want to check something with Roger Nielsen about who's going to play where. Maloney stays out and Boutet goes to the bench. Ferguson against Kazicki. Face off to the left of the Leaf goal. They're tossed out of there. Jones will take the draw. Against Bourne. Bourne gets the face off. Nystrom poked it in front, but Turnbull was there. And back comes Ian Turnbull. Shot at the center. Bert Marshall knocked it down. To Kazicki. He clears it into the lead zone. Palmateer firing it over on left wing for Maloney. Maloney to Jones. Too far ahead, and Marshall has it for New York. Bert Marshall for Bourne. He's tied up by Jones. Butler is there. So is Kazicki, and they hold it right at the center ice red line for a faceoff.
Roger Nielsen stresses those faceoffs. I think the Leafs, I haven't been keeping a close count on them, but I would say they've been winning maybe 3-1 on the faceoffs over the Islanders tonight. Another fellow who really deserves some attention is Dave Lewis on that Islander defense. He's not a flashy player, but this has probably been his strongest game tonight. He's been a standout along there with Potvin has been another. There's Lewis, Kindersley, Saskatchewan, hometown.
They have a problem with the glass in behind the Leaf goal. And referee Andy Van Helleman wants that situation rectified before play continues.
We have just happen to have a cameraman very handy. And again, we see this novel way of repairing the glass. Tuesday, May the 2nd. Semifinal action. Philadelphia, Toronto at Montreal. So we have a momentary delay here as they again make some repairs to the glass just in behind the goal net of Mike Palmateer. And again, they call on the players themselves to remedy the situation. All fixed and ready to go again. 5:33 to play.
It is game 7 of a best-of-7 series. And as you sit here broadcasting and enjoying this action, you know someone sometime is going to make a mistake, and that's probably going to cost the hockey game.
The players go out there and they say, just let it not be me.
Jones against Kazicki, the puck to the Islander line. Dennis Potvin to Dave Lewis. Lewis to Kazicki. He fires it into the Leaf zone. Brian Glennie, number 24, back after it to Ellis on right wing. Ellis scooped it back in behind the net for Randy Carlyle. He's checked. Here's Bourne dropping it back, and the Islander defense unable to hold it in. Dennis Potvin center ice to Kazicki. Kazicki lost it to Carlyle. He flips it into the Islander zone, and Dennis Potvin goes back to pick it up. 5 minutes left in regulation time. A 1-1 game as Kazicki comes to center ice on right wing. Kazicki trying to go around Glennie. Kazicki into the corner to Nystrom, a shot that's well wide of the net. Ellis in the corner for Toronto. Ellis checked in the play by Lewis. Here's Dave Lewis trying to work it in front. Lewis still after the puck. Gets it to Kazicki. Kazicki in the corner. Bothered by Carlyle. Now Gilly to Dennis Potvin. Shoots, and that's blocked by Jones. And Jones is wrapped in against the boards by Nystrom. Jones trying to hold it there. Kazicki comes in, and they
force a face-off in the Leaf zone.
Potvin had another great scoring chance there. Nystrom goes off for a new hockey stick. He scored in overtime here on the island in Game 2.
And it was Jimmy Jones who blocked that great chance by Potvin from the right point.
4:24 to play, regulation time.
Darryl Sittler against Trottier. Face-off in the Leaf zone. 1-1 the score as Sittler wins the face-off cleanly, and Turnbull has it behind the Toronto goal. Trying to clear it out, Jerry Hart held it in center. Trottier shoots. Palmateer got the tip of a stick on it. Now Bossy trying to center. It comes to Hart. Jerry Hart a drive that goes off the stick and up over the glass. Well, the Leafs won the face-off, and the Islanders had a couple of dangerous scoring chances.
Heart of my heart. The sign reads up in behind the goal area.
Sittler again against Trottier, this time about 10 feet inside the Leaf blue line. 4:06 left in regulation time. Matt Pavelich wants to patch up a hole in the ice just inside the Leaf blue line. Now they get ready for this face-off. Sittler again got the draw. It comes into the center ice area. Hart unable to clear it back in. Now Stepan Pearson shoots it into the Toronto zone, and Turnbull is back. Turnbull cleared it for McDonald. He's bumped by Hart. Gillies is in there. Now McDonald gets it to Sittler. To McDonald at center to Tiger Williams. Williams moves in with a high shot caught by Resch. Gary Hart back of the net to Gillies on left wing. Gillies trying to clear it. Williams held it in, a backhander. Wide of the goal, but caught by Resch anyway. And the play was whistled down. Resch was whistled down. Resch was trying to throw it in behind that net away from Sittler, but the play had been stopped.
Glenn Resch likes the antique cars. He collects them. He's got a 38 Plymouth he's very proud of.
He hasn't had the work that the Leaf goaltender Palmateer has had, but he's played well in the Islander goal. Here is Hart with 3.5 minutes left in regulation time, getting it into the Leaf zone. Gillies and Johansson go in there after it. Clark Gillies trying to center. Sittler intercepts. Sittler to Turnbull. Turnbull into Sittler, shoots. Oh, Resch, a pad save. Now Sittler scooped it in front. Here's McDonald, a shot that deflects wide. Sittler centering it. Turnbull shoots. Resch, the save on Turnbull. As now Resch comes up big in the Islander goal. And back comes Trottier. 3 minutes left in regulation time. Trottier into a bad angle, trying to center, and Turnbull was there to break it up. Turnbull lost it to Howard. Gary Howard centers it, and McDonald for the Leafs intercepts. To Sittler. Darryl Sittler moving in, lets the shot go. Potvin blocked it. Sittler to Williams, who's tied up. Now to Sittler behind the net. Centered. Sittler gets it. Backhander. The save by Resch. Here's Williams. Centers. Oh, and Sittler couldn't get a stick on it. And back comes Howard to Dennis Potvin. 2-on-2 break with Lewis trailing, and Potvin fires wide. Now Potvin cleared it. On the boards, Turnbull for the Leafs. To Sittler. Checked by Mirek from behind. He shot it into the Leaf zone, and it's offside at the Leaf blue line.
That breeze in here is everybody just exhaling. Fantastic end-to-end action, and Chico Resch held the Leafs off. What a performance in goal as Sittler, Turnbull, McDonald, Williams, they were all in on top of him. I don't know how he did it, but we watched Palmateer do it at the other end all evening. And now Chico Resch is saying, well, the young kid down there can do it his way, I'll do it mine. Watch again, Sittler, the Leaf captain, with tremendous pressure on Resch. Leafs moving in. That was just one of several stops.
2:13 left in regulation time. New York 1, Toronto 1. Dennis Potvin fires it into the Leaf zone. Carlisle back for Toronto. On left wing for Boutet.
Boutet to Jones. Here's Jimmy Jones dumping it into the Islanders zone. Resch leaves it there for Lewis. Lewis on left wing for Bourne. Bourne starting out of his own zone to Kazicki. Off his stick. Now Maloney shoots it into the Islanders zone, and Lewis is back for it. Lewis, rink wide pass picked up by Dennis Potvin. He overskates the puck, now gets it again and gives it to Kazicki. Here's Kazicki into the Leaf zone. Tried to step around Carlisle, who took it away from him. Randy Carlisle to Maloney. Broken up by Pearson. Pearson for the Islanders. In with Kazicki. Step on Pearson to Nystrom on the other wing. He couldn't get it. Now Carlisle and Nystrom fight for it. Carlisle cleared it. Bourne knocked it down. Bourne drops it back. There's hard a drive. It's high off the glass. Maloney with 1:05 left in regulation time. To Jones. Now less than a minute to play in regulation time. Here's Glennie for the Leafs. Ahead to Maloney. Maloney fired it into the Islanders zone. Jerry Hart back after it to Bourne. Bourne trying to clear it. Ferguson knocked it down. Scoops it over onto the other wing. Maloney is into set it up. Ellis shoots. Oh, and Resch just got his glove on. A low drive by Ellis. Now Ferguson and Bourne fight for it. Here's Ferguson. Dropping it back. Johansson fired it back in. They rule it. Came outside the blue line, and it's offside. Called at the Islander line with 29 seconds now left in regulation time.
And with just over half a minute to play, Ellis came in. Maloney kept it in the zone along with Ferguson, and Ellis drove one. Looked like the sure winner for just a second. Resch got a piece of it. What a hockey game we've got going here. 29 seconds left, regulation time. Here's the play by Ron Ellis, number 6.
Oh, and Resch just got a tip of his glove on it. Faceoff will be outside the Islander line. 29 seconds left in regulation time. Islanders won, the Maple Leafs won. Dennis Potvin in the first period for New York. Ian Turnbull in the second period for the Leafs. Here's Butler trying to get it in. Now Myrick for the Islanders. Fires it into the Toronto zone. Palmateer out of the net to clear it to Johansson. Held in. Lewis shoots one. And that was blocked, I think, at the defense. Back comes Ferguson. Ferguson with 12 seconds left. Check. Now Boutet banned on it. And Billy Harris starts back. 6 seconds left. Harris moves in. His shot is stopped by Ferguson, and the play was offside at the Leaf line with 3 seconds left in regulation time. And the Islanders had a good scoring chance. I don't know. I think the defense stopped the shot by Lewis.
I think Ian Turnbull, who's been a standout, may have stopped it with the wrist, and now with 3 seconds left, it's almost certain we're going to have overtime again.
For the third time in this series. Now the puck dropped in the regulation time comes to a conclusion. We are headed for sudden death overtime. The next goal will win this game and this series. And at the end of regulation time, it is the New York Islanders 1, the Toronto Maple Leafs 1. We have had a tremendous hockey game here, and there is more to come in the third period. The shots on goal, the Leafs had 6, the Islanders 5. On the game, the Leafs out shooting New York 24-19. Dennis Potvin scored the only goal for New York. Ian Turnbull for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And now, here is Dave Hodge.
For the third time in this series, for the third time here at the Nassau Coliseum, we have overtime, and how much more dramatic could it be than that this overtime will decide the series. Pat Price of the New York Islanders, inactive tonight, has joined me to talk about what we've seen, and neither of us is old enough to say we've seen all that much hockey, but boy, I have never seen anything like this series, particularly this game. It takes your breath away.
Well, it's been a strenuous series, there's no doubt about it. There's been a lot of excitement for the fans of New York and the fans of Toronto, and I don't think anybody's going to walk away from this series forgetting it too lightly.
Are you confident because of the fact that the Islanders have won the other 2 games in overtime, or is there the thought that maybe the string can run out and the odds might be that the Leafs are going to win one? What thoughts do you have as you ponder overtime?
Well, I'd have to say the building gives us a definite advantage. And overtime is a tricky business. It's one shot and one goal, and it doesn't necessarily mean the team that's carrying most of the play is going to score that goal either. As you know, sometimes the play goes the other way, and even though, for instance, if New York had all the pressure and the play could go the other way and Toronto get an easy goal, that's usually the way overtimes are ended. One shot, one goal.
Is there that much of a change of thinking? Because the third period really was overtime, if you come right down to it. If not at the beginning, certainly in the final 10 minutes. I think everybody would agree that one goal in the third period probably would have decided the game. So do the teams now think about doing anything differently, or just continue the way they've been in the third?
Well, overtime is different in the third period. Third period, you still have 20 minutes to set up some sort of attack, and you can't forget about your defense as well, because usually if you get that one goal, you have to protect it. In overtime, it's one goal and it's all over, so you have to go hell-bent for leather and go for that goal and just hope you get the bounce.
Was there any thought to Mike Bossy or Bryan Trottier or Eddie Westfall not playing tonight? How much did you know about how healthy they were entering this game?
Well, we had to dress an extra forward, which is the reason I'm sitting on tonight, because of their injuries. They were all naturally willing to give it a try and wanting to give it a try. Brian is hurting pretty badly with a cracked cheekbone, and Eddie's got the bad knee, and Mike Bossy has got the wrench neck, and so I imagine the Leafs have their injuries too. That's no excuse. It's just something that you have to play with, and that's one of the part of the game.
Well, any hockey game is going to be tough on players with injuries, but a hockey game like this, it can take a lot out of the healthiest ones. Pat Price, thank you for joining us, and I'd say enjoy the overtime, but I don't know anybody connected with these two teams that will enjoy what we're about to see, but we'll watch it with interest. Thanks again, Pat, for being with us. The score at the end of regulation time, the Toronto Maple Leafs won and the New York Islanders won.
Again, we have overtime in this thrilling series between the Islanders and the Toronto Maple Leafs. With me now is Brian O'Neill, the Executive Vice President of the National Hockey League. And this is a tribute to your game, Brian, when you could keep hockey fans like this in an uproar like they've been in the Nassau County Coliseum tonight.
Well, as you know, Brian, we don't plan overtimes, but overtimes are certainly one of the greatest features of our games, and especially in playoffs. Of course, it's the only time we have them. And I noticed when I came in here tonight the electricity that was surrounding the entire building, and I don't think you'll get that anywhere else in any other sport. Maybe I'm a little prejudiced, but I felt it when I came in. And of course, as we get into this overtime, with every time a player touches the puck, you know what's going to happen. The crowd's just going to go roaring. So it's quite a wind-up for a fantastic series.
It certainly is, and of course the old question always comes up about overtime in regular season play. I don't know whether you want to tackle that question again, but let's ask it anyway. Will it ever appear in the NHL scene?
Well, there are many who are for it, and there are many who are opposed to it. One thing I don't think we will ever see will be unlimited overtime, because that's just too big a drain when you consider the number of games the players have to play over the course of the season. And really, overtimes in terms of settling ties on a 10-minute basis haven't resolved that many, although I do believe there is a group that believe that this would lend a little more excitement, and I am still sitting a bit on the fence on this one, Brian.
An odd thing happened here tonight, Brian O'Neill. The linesman, Claude Bouchard, was injured, could not carry on at the end of the first period, and you were able to quickly substitute a referee in his place. Is this a first, as far as you know, in NHL playoff activity, and are you prepared for things like this to happen?
Well, normally it's the referee that gets injured, and we usually have to replace, and that's why we have a standby referee. It is an oddity for a linesman, but I think that you will probably see as time goes on that as we get into a seventh game of this type, we will be having standby linesmen as well, because John's a pretty good referee, but he's a little rusty in his face-offs.
Yes. Brian, there must be a multitude of problems in preparing now for the semifinal series, which lies ahead, and then the final series. I mean, you don't really know which teams are going to be facing which teams yet.
No, we certainly don't know that, but in terms of problems, everything falls right into place, Brian. we don't kind of find it very complicated at all. In fact, if our regular season schedule worked as easy as our playoff schedule, we'd be away to the races.
Well, I was thinking now, arenas have to be booked for other attractions, and arena managers are always concerned about open dates, etc., but they have to leave these arenas open for playoffs.
Oh, absolutely. When they set their regular season schedule up sometime in August, they will say to their building owners that we must have these dates for playoffs, and they could conceivably run right through to June the 1st.
Now, as an executive of the league, are you allowed to take a stand on a game like this? Are you inwardly perhaps picking a winner of this game tonight?
Oh, heavens no, but the only thing that we really worry about is the quality of the goal that decides it. That's our only concern.
I don't know about the quality of the goal, but the quality of the goaltending here tonight has been exceptional, hasn't it?
Absolutely fantastic. They've done a tremendous job, both of these. In fact, through the entire series, it's been probably the best goaltending I have seen in a long time. I think it's a tribute to those two goalkeepers.
We'll soon know about the winning goal and the winning team in this series, and thank you, Brian O'Neill, for joining us.
It's a real pleasure, Brian.
Stanley Cup 78 continues in just a moment.
One fellow who didn't expect to be watching tonight's game from the stands, and perhaps he's not seeing it too clearly, Claude Béchard, the linesman who opened tonight's game, an unfortunate injury. How are you feeling?
Not bad, Dave, not bad. And I just saw the doctor again. He said the ring's okay, just, swallowed so much, I couldn't see after. When I came in the room, it wasn't too bad. Maybe 2 minutes later, it was, almost close.
What do you remember about what caused it?
Well, I think it's Ferguson's stick. And all I saw, I tried to protect myself. Lucky I hit my hand first, but then I'm not too sure how it happened, though.
It's been a tough series for players and officials as well. I wonder about John McCauley's task in, of course, being the standby referee and going into work as a linesman. Now, I'm sure he's worked the lines in his career, but not lately. Is there a big adjustment that John would have to make?
Well, I think that's what, worried me a bit, because I want to go back there, and Scotty Moore, since there's no way you can't see. And I was thinking about that, because John, I know he could do the job, no question about that, but he's, it's been maybe 10 years he hasn't worked the line, so it's a big difference, really, especially in a game like this. So it's going to take a while, and I just watched the last 10 minutes, and he's working super.
In minor hockey, face masks are becoming compulsory. In amateur hockey in Canada, officials are all wearing helmets. Do you think the day will ever come when you, as officials of the NHL, would want some protection?
Well, I don't know about this, Dave, because some guys would like to wear a helmet, and some, I would say 60–70% of the guys don't want to wear it. But I know in junior hockey and minor hockey, they have to. It's a rule.
The teams are in their dressing rooms now, and I don't know whether much would be said. It's obvious what has to happen and what the teams are trying to do. What would Andy and Matt and now John be sitting in there talking about now, or would they be silent as well?
Oh, yeah, I don't think there's too much to say in the dressing room right now, because, we've been ready for that game, and now the guys, John and Andy and Matt, they're ready, and, it's overtime. Like, the first was as much important than this overtime, so they're ready for it, and, they're working well, and there won't be any change in the overtime.
Well, Claude, get back to them, and we thank you for being with us, though we'd prefer you with the striped shirt on, and I know that you wanted to work the game. You did say you wanted to go back.
Yeah, I want to go back, but, let's face it, after 5–10 minutes, I couldn't see too much. So, Scotty said, no, John's ready, and he'll go. And good for him, because he's working good, and he'll do the job, no problem about that.
Thank you, Claude Béchard. Now, Brian McFarland and Dan Kelly.
Thank you, Dave. And Dan Kelly, looking at Claude Béchard, it's easy to see why he was not able to carry on as a linesman in this game.
Looks a little bit like Carmen Basilio used to after one of those fights with Sugar Ray Robinson. But
you go back that far, do you?
Well, I have an older brother that tells me about that stuff.
Listen, we were talking to Brian O'Neill about the goaltending, and I think we have a couple of highlights that will point out just how effective these goaltenders have been tonight. Sittler had one rush, I recall, in that third period, and here was a great save by Kazicki, who was a second goaltender on the play.
Yeah, Kazicki dived left his feet to stop Sittler, who was breaking in on his backhand and had a great chance. So very good defensive play by Kazicki, who's also looked very good offensively.
Well, let's switch to the other end of the rink now, and Mike Palmateer, who's just been simply outstanding throughout. I guess we're boring you by saying that so often. Here's another stop. We'll try to catch the puck on the way in.
Pearson let the shot go. If memory serves me correctly, this is the rebound that comes right to Clark Gillies. And Palmateer dives across and got his arm and just made an incredible save on Gillies on the rebound after Pearson's original shot had been stopped. So Paul Matier, I think, really held the Leafs in the game at critical times, and then late in the game when the Leafs had some chances, I thought Resch played his best hockey of the night. Here's one on Sittler.
Yes, here you go now. Late in the game, Sittler moving in. Tiger Williams was with him. Let's see, I think Maloney was on the ice at the time. Turnbull moved up as the Islanders found themselves in trouble. And Sittler played a lot of long shifts. There's a shot by McDonald that was just wide.
So we saw a little bit of great goaltending from the other end as there's the shot by Turnbull that Chico Resch makes a great save on. So that's why it's a 1-1 hockey game in the 7th and deciding game of a Stanley Cup playoff game. Some great goaltending by Mike Palmateer and Chico Resch, and that's really what Stanley Cup playoffs are all about.
Well, you can see the teams are back on the ice now, and the Islanders, of course, getting tremendous support from the hometown fans here on the island. I don't know. I don't like trying to pick a winning shooter in a game like this, and I'm sure you don't either, so we'll get back to the play-by-play action now with Dan Kelly.